All right, we're looking at a Audi S4 with the 4.2 liter engine. Problem with it is oil leaks from the front, from the side, from everywhere. We've already changed the valve cover gaskets, and that solved some of the issues. But again, it's coming from the front, it's coming from the back. I'm getting smoke from the driver's side, the exhaust manifold area. So after researching it, it appears as if this would be the culprit, and I do see some leaks. I saw some oil along the side here as well. What I did is I highly suggest you do this. I put a little scope down here to take a really good look, and I saw oil all along the sides here. So that's what I narrowed it down to, and I've already got my new gaskets in there. The one back there and this one right here. And let me show you the old ones. It's pretty interesting. As you can see, the surface is flat, okay? All right, both of these surfaces are flat. So you need some sort of a seal. You need these gaskets to stick up above, and it does actually, if you look closely here, those gaskets do stick up above the little groove that they fit into. And as you can see, so does the one back there, okay? So you're going to get a nice seal between the gasket and these flat surfaces on the oil filter housing. The old ones were perfectly flat. I mean, this was perfectly flat. It was lined up just, you could see it, okay? It's flat. It was lined up just flush with that aluminum surface there, and the same was true of this O-ring. The O-ring wasn't as bad, but pretty bad. See, you can see it's flattened, and it should be round. Okay, it should be a ring. Okay, this O-ring should be rounder up top and on the bottom, and it's all flattened. And again, it's a flat surface there, it's a flat surface here, flat surface here, flat surface there. So you need that little seal. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I took that off, and we're going to do this job backwards. Okay, I like to show it backwards because then I don't make any mistakes. I've already made the mistakes when I was taking it off, so as I'm putting it back together, it'll be done nice and clean. So, you know, removal will be the reverse of installation, I guess is the best way to put it. So let's get started. So we already put the oil filter housing back on. I guess this is the oil cooler area. These two bolts are 10 Newton meters, and the two ones in the back, there's one here and there's one down below. You'll see it just behind that elbow right there. It's just behind that. It's another one like this. All you do is push this thing back a little bit, and you'll gain access to it. Those are those two that look just like that are 22 Newton meters. So you got 10 Newton meters, 22 Newton meters, and you're going to use 13 millimeter. Well, no, you're going to use let's see, a T30 here. You'll use a T30, and you're going to use one of these. I think this is called a square. Something square. I forget the name of it. It's an M10. Okay? As you can see, it's got lots of teeth. Just count the number of teeth that has. Go to the auto parts store. Take a screenshot of what I'm showing you and get this thing. I don't know the name of it. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. As soon as those are tightened down to specs, obviously we're going to clean everything. We're going to vacuum. I'm going to vacuum all that dirt and everything. All right. I'm going to clean it up as much as I can everywhere. Incidentally, while you're here, you know, you could replace the valley pan too. Okay, just by removing these T30 Torx screws, you could replace the valley pan underneath here too. While you're down here, I would recommend that you do that. So let's move on. Okay, so I got all the loose dirt, cleaned the mating surface for the new intake manifold gaskets. And also, incidentally, that tool that we used for the two big screws with a whole bunch of teeth, You put a 13 millimeter socket over this and then just attach an extension to it and you'll be good. Let's go ahead and put the gaskets on and start reassembling. Okay, now you see this vacuum line right here. Right here. This thing kind of hooks around. Okay, it'll be the last thing you take off when the intake manifold comes off. So of course it's going to be the first thing we're going to put on here. This is going to go right there. Okay, on the bottom, right there. And I'll show you. Okay, let me show you something. Word of caution. See that there? I'm going to remove that with some long needle nose. That right there. I'm going to remove that with some long needle nose pliers. That fell in there, okay? Man, I could see some dirt on top of those valves too. I'm going to clean that up. You could take a good look, you know, at your valves and the condition of everything through here. But this little cone-shaped thing, that one was stuck in the bottom of the intake manifold. It goes right in here, you know, the little cone shape, obviously. Then another one goes right there. They look like they help hold the manifold in place, okay? But I think they're broken. They're broken, these little cones. I don't know if I broke them when I removed the intake or they were broken before. So at any rate, I want you to watch out for that, okay? Be aware that these go into those cone-shaped carved out little holes on the bottom of the manifold. Also, of course, this goes without saying, but you're going to want to clean the mating surface on the intake manifold. Also, it's a good time, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could unscrew this end. You could unscrew everything to gain access to the inside of the intake manifold. If you could inspect it, you know, for damage, if there's a lot of oil getting into your system, you could troubleshoot it that way. Clean inside the ports here. You could, you know, stick a shop towel in there, or you could use the. You're gonna have to look it up, okay? I don't know what the correct cleaning solution that's safe for all of this would be. You're gonna have to look all that up. But I'm just making you aware. It's an opportunity for you to do all that and make everything spotless and clean if you'd like to. The biggest thing is this, though. I assume it helps hold the intake in place, and I don't know, maybe it goes in onto here, these holes. I don't know, I have no idea where they go. I'll have to do some research, but just be aware of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these out, and I'm just going to put it on because obviously it doesn't really do anything other than just kind of serve as a guide for putting the intake manifold on. I'm just going to be really careful and make sure that the intake manifold holes line up with obviously those threads. I want to make sure I could see clear through, and that the metal gasket here is not offset to where I can't thread the screws into place clearly and cleanly. Okay, there was way too much dirt inside of the ports here on top of the valves, as you can see in there. There was a lot of dirt on top of them. So what I did is I got it all out. I might do it a little bit more. What you need to do is you need to hit all of these ports very carefully and take your time, get all the dirt out of there with some compressed air, okay? And you know, just use a little gun. Get yourself a little gun for the compressor. I don't know where I put mine, but you're just gonna shoot the high pressure through, and all that dirt will come flying out. What you want to do is put all those shop rags back in, okay, and just one at a time take the shop rag out of one port and just spray it to get all the dirt and debris out of there with the gun, and then put the shop rag back in, and then remove the shop rag from this port. Do the same thing, hit it with the high pressure compressed air, and then again put the port back, because that stuff will come flying out of here, all the debris, and then it'll, it might come back down from one port to another port if you don't keep on removing shop rags and putting shop rags back in. Okay, so just another word of caution there. Okay, success. Pretty easy. Now what you're going to do is grab a pick like this, a straight pick, and you're going to inspect every single one of these holes, and you'll be able to see the gasket down there, and then the thread that goes on top of the manifold mating surface there. You can see on the outer edge, the black. I know that the gasket is on there. Okay, and I just look all the way around, look through the hole, and you could see part of the gasket on both sides. Again, going along the side here, the very corners there. I don't know if you can, yeah, you see the little bit of black right there? Okay, obviously the gasket is on there. And you can follow it all the way up and down, and you can see that it's seated correctly. Then you verify it. You could actually see part of the gasket through every single one of the holes. And then what you do is just stick this pick down there, okay, and just line everything up, so when you thread everything down, you torque everything down, you torque the bolts down, it'll be nice and smooth. Everything will be aligned correctly. Also, of course, you want to get all the hoses and everything out of the way before you do this. Make it nice and easy for yourself. And what I did, I'll show you. We'll get there. I'm jumping ahead. I don't want to go out of sequence. So just keep in mind that when you throw this on, you're going to do a little bit of adjusting with a pick. Okay? You're going to look all the way around the perimeter to make sure that the gasket is seated correctly. See right there? I want to use the pick just to push everything back into place. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the vacuum hose that goes into here. See where my broken antenna from a 99 Eldorado is pointed? Right here. Yep, there is a vacuum line. It's not this one. Not this one. There's one underneath it. Okay? There's one underneath. And that's where this little hooked end is going to go. So I'm going to attach that right now. And I haven't tightened these bolts yet for the intake, because this way, like if you have a hard time reaching down there, you can lift this up just ever so slightly just to give yourself a little more slack. So I'm going to throw that on right now. Alright, it's on there. Okay, next, we're going to grab this vacuum line that leads back there. Okay, we're on the driver's side. We're going to take this, and this vacuum line is going down here. It's going to go beneath the fuel rail once we pop the fuel rail on. So it's going to be running. See it moving around right there? Oh, come here, Junior. See right there? It's right there. Oh, man, we got all sorts of stuff on. Okay. It's right there, okay? So it's going to be running along the bottom. It'll be beneath the fuel line. Okay, it's going to come out right here. It's going to go behind this doohickey. It's going to go, I'll show you. Okay, it's going down. It's going to attach to the connection that I told you. Don't mistake the line that we just put on right there, that white one. Okay, that's where it's going to go. So what it's going to do is, again, look at how it's routed. It's going behind this. This is going to go onto that bracket right there. But the vacuum line, of course you'll see this when you're taking it off anyway, but I'm just showing you. That's the one you're going to do next. It's going to go down. You're going to fish it out the other side. I'll show you. See? I got it on there loosely so you can see where it goes. The hooked, it's that hooked one right there. There it goes. So it's going to go, again, like I said, when you're taking it off, you'll see what I'm trying to accomplish here, and you're just going to position it perfectly, just like it was when it was removed. Alright, if you're going to be ripping off these clamps, these original clamps, make sure that you also go to the auto parts store of your choice and pick up some clamps that will be suitable, that will match the size of what you're removing, okay? Because we're going to be throwing those on the back end here. Like, as you can see, this one right here is going to need a clamp. That's a coolant hose. It goes up top. The one underneath it is going to need a little bigger clamp, one of those. So I had to destroy two. I can just slide that one back on. It's for the boot. That one's going to have to be replaced. You can see right there. Okay. That one I had to, going to have to remove this one. And by the way you take these off is you got to find that little notch that's sticking out. Then you got to hammer it back. That's what the mallet right there is for. Then I just took a screwdriver, lined it up here, and just hammered it back, and then this will slip right up, come over it, and you'll be able to, this edge right here will slip right up. As you can see, those slots actually slide right into this lip that's sticking up, the little piece of metal right there protruding. Then you're able to remove it, see? Alright, so let's go to the back. We're going to start with, I put this tube on for the, let's get the 99 Eldorado pointer antenna. I put this tube on first, attached it to the rear of the manifold to this breather. And note the orientation of the screw here. The screw's got to be on the oil filter side, because then you're going to slide on another clamp here, and you need to have enough room for the other screw to fit in, okay? Just trust me, do it in this orientation, your clamp, okay? And then, we took these off, so we're replacing these pinch clamps of sorts with, regular screw clamps. And now we're going to do the top one here, which is a radiator, which is a coolant line, and this too, I believe, is a coolant line. It's right here. As you can see, I've already got one around that one. I'm just going to put another regular clamp around this one. Okay, let's continue. Alright, we got all three on. Check out the orientation of the screws. See how the screw on the top one is over to my left, on the bigger one on the bottom over to the right, and then this one that goes right up top here with the green dot on it, again over to my right. So we got these three on, and there's the housing, just to give you a reference point. So this one, and then the two over here, skinny one on top, the other one on the bottom, the thicker one on the bottom. Now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and hook up this vacuum line. And this vacuum line just runs into that T-fitting down there, okay? So we're just going to hook it up to the white portion of that T-fitting. If you ever have problems disconnecting vacuum lines or hoses, try using this stuff, especially if it's rubber on rubber. Just spray some of it on the white portion, that nipple that was sticking out, and some of it, on the tip of the tube that you're going to connect it with, and it'll slide in much easier. You won't break anything. Now again, let me remind you, this is going to go underneath the fuel, well, it's going to go underneath the connections here that will be on top of the fuel rail. These go into the fuel injectors. These are the connections for the fuel. These snap into the fuel injectors. You'll see. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and, let's see. Yep. We're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and connect this. Okay. So obviously you're going to have to disconnect that one when you are removing it. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw on, we're going to connect this hose, which is a vacuum line. We're going to connect this hose here. It's a vacuum line. All right, there's the hose. This was just tucked away. This line right here, see it right there, running up top, is going right into right there. All right, top of the manifold, sticking straight up, and it's got a pinch clamp. Beautiful. So just slide that on down, and then what we're going to do is throw the boot back on, and then, just so you know, we're going to connect this to that metal line right there, and again we're going to put a clamp around it, and then we're going to go ahead and slide this back on to the little elbow that sticks out of the tube there. Right there. See the elbow? That's where that small line is going to go. All right, moving right along. There's the elbow connected. There's elbow number 2 connected. So this one runs, it's like, just like a vac. This is the one that goes into the firewall. Goes into that elbow. And then we got the vacuum line that goes into the intake boot. Okay. And we also did the clamps on both sides of the boot. And that's it. We already talked about that. Oh, that's the one that I just slid the pinch clamp down. All right. Right there, that one. Oh, and you'll want to definitely use some, you want to own one of these. You can't live without that long plier right there. And also get the curved edge, like that one right there. See? The curved edge. Oh man, it's just an absolute lifesaver. They're dirt cheap. You could probably find them at Walmart even, or Harbor Freight. All right, as I recall, we're done with the back of the engine, all the connections. And now we're going to do the front. And we're going to start with, we already did a couple of vacuum lines to begin with. So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach the brackets for the connectors. See the blue and the black and the black? Those brackets are going to go right into, let's see if we can get down there. Come on. Stay with me, camera guy. Alright, you can see it right there. See that hole? Okay. It threads right into there, the bracket. Threads right into there. Right there. Ooh, not right there. Ooh, bad angle. Bad angle. Okay, you see that hole right there? Right there? That is going to go, that's the bracket for the connectors. That is just going to attach to the, it's just one screw and it's right against the intake manifold here. And all you do is just thread that in there. I think it's a T30, T27 or T30. And same thing with this bracket right here. Right here, this one. See the hole right there? There's a hole threaded right here. You'll see it. It's very obvious. Again, I'm just trying to give you an, see the two holes? One of them is like a guide pin and the other one is threaded. And you just attach the connectors to the, yep, it's connected to the manifold. Alright, now for work like this, when you're pulling the screw out, always have one of these magnets handy because the last thing you want to be doing is fishing stuff out of there. Okay? And what I'm going to do, in order to put this in, is I'm going to take the T27, okay, and I'm going to attach this to the T27, and I'm going to wrap some duct tape around it so it doesn't fall down. I'll show you. Ah, you see? You see what I did there? You see what I did there? Anyway, I got the duct tape between the screw and the T27, and I've got it threaded in there now. Now I can just pull the duct tape off and go ahead and line up the pin for the bracket. You'll see what I mean. And we're done. Then we're just going to do the same thing on this side, so we'll have the brackets in place. Alright, now for the driver's side, you're going to use the smaller screw, okay? And this is actually a different Torx bit. This is not a T27. It's a, go purchase one of these from your local auto parts store. The Torx bit just slides right in. Let me show you. Alright, it's a T25 for the small screw for the bracket on the driver's side, the knock sensor bracket for those connections. And all you do is just go to your local auto parts store and find this thing. It's like a bit driver. Okay, it drives these little Torx bits. Just fits right into there, and it works like a ratchet. Look at this. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, now, this is what I call the little Marco Rubio ratchet, torque wrench. Marco Rubio would use this as a torque wrench. Little Marco. So go ahead and buy one of these. Again, you will always use it for everything you do around the house. And it's perfect for this particular screw too. And then we're going to do our little tape, electrical tape connection trick again. Alright, so now we got that bad boy screwed on there. Bracket sitting there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this hose to right there. Okay. Right here. Alright. Hey look, I actually did something on camera. I mean, do you guys really want to watch me turn screws for hours on end? Hell no. Yeah, go ahead and attach that. And then we're going to attach this vacuum line with the boot here. This bad boy. Woo! There goes the lighting department. Alright, we're going to attach this to, there we go. See that? Little nipple right there? I'm losing my own place here. I think I've outsmarted myself. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, yep, it's exactly the way that I said. Alright, one goes into there. The one that runs along the valve cover, the elbow, goes into the T-fitting right there. And the other hose goes right there, okay, into that vacuum. And, or diaphragm of some sorts. Now, what I did, 99 Eldo pointer, paging 99 Eldo pointer, is I had the hose routed around this side so there wasn't enough slack to make it naturally sit without stressing it out, the vacuum hose. So you want to make sure that it comes out right here, that you're not on this side. You want to be on this side going underneath the bracket for the knock sensors and so forth. What I did to adjust it is I just loosened that T27 Torx screw. See it back there behind the blue one? You can see the edge of it right there. I just loosened it a little bit to give myself a little slack, and I'm going to tighten it now. Alright, now, by the way, hope you noticed I popped this into the little bracket down there. Okay, this little thing. I threw the elbow on. And now I'm just going to put all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connectors back on. I'm just going to pop them all back into place. Alright. Connectors are all on. What we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and put all the screws in, tighten them down to 10 Newton meters for the intake. 10 Newton meters, and they are T30s. Pretty sure. T30. And again, make sure that you line up, use that little pick to line everything up, the gasket with the mating surface for the intake manifold. Alright, I'm actually going to do some more work on camera. Watch. You watching? Using the magnet, I told you, you got to get one. I did this all the way around. You see that? Check out the big brain on Bob. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go from the middle out to the corners, and we're going to just go ahead and thread everything in. Don't tighten anything, just thread it all the way down. Be like 1 or 2 threads from seating the bolt against the manifold, okay? Just going to put it on just close to snug, and make sure that they all thread down nice and easy, that you don't strip anything. If you feel any resistance, stop, move this thing around, okay, to get everything aligned, and then try turning the screw again. Alright, again, 10 Newton meters. Now I'm going to put the torque sequence in the description down below for these bolts. There's a particular order that you're supposed to do this. It's in a crisscross pattern, generally speaking, going from the middle out, and then you do the corners, and then you do up here. Okay? So, oh, I'm sorry. That's not even, you're not going to touch this or this, okay? So let me go ahead and post the sequence down below, and I'm going to torque everything down. Now I should note that I'm putting the bolts on last as I'm reassembling the intake, okay, because I wanted to give myself some room to move the intake around if I had problems with the fittings anywhere, either in the front over here or in the back over there. But really what you should do is remove the bolts for the intake after you have disconnected everything from the front and the back, obviously. All right, so that's really the only thing that's out of sequence as we're doing this in reverse order. Okay, we got it all torqued down. Now, I removed the bracket over here in order to give myself enough room to move this the electrical connectors for the fuel injection around and remove the intake. There's a bracket, threads into there, and also one bolt goes into there, the other bolt goes into down there, okay? And there's the bracket. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. I'll put it on and show you what it looks like. Okay, these are 13mm bolts. One goes right there, and then there's the other one right there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean all the grease up before we put the fuel rail back on. We're going to clean all the grease up from the top of the intake and the top of the valve covers. Make it look nice and clean. Ah, that's better. Looks good. Now, we're going to just pop that fuel rail back on, and of course right now would be a good time for you to clean your fuel injectors, send them out to get clean, get a kit and put those new O-rings at the tips, do whatever you want related to the fuel injectors. Okay, so all we're going to do is just, I'm going to lubricate the O-rings a little bit, and I'm going to slide them right into place, line up these 4 holes, and just bolt them down. You know what, throughout this entire process, I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but remember, do this whole thing by hand with a ratchet. Don't use, these things. I use that, and I'm going to show you how to put the bumper on and put the carriage back in place. All right, I'm not going to leave you stranded there. I'm going to show you how to do the whole thing from start to finish. But, for everything that has to do with the intake, there's a lot of aluminum here, and you could easily strip it by using one of these, hand drills, power drills. All right, let's put that, just pop that fuel rail back on. All right, fuel rail's back on. Got the 4 screws back in there. Right there, right there, right there, right there, all 4 corners. And, I needed to give myself some more slack here to get the wiring loom over the fuel injector connectors. So I just went ahead and loosened that bolt and this bolt, again 13mm, which gave me enough freedom here with the bracket moving around to go ahead and fit everything. All right, we got this done. Now, I do believe we have everything connected. If I missed anything, we'll come back to it, of course. Next thing we're going to do is show you how to put, we're going to put those supports on. One right there, another one right there, sitting on the ground. And we're going to put that big bar back on. See it sitting on the ground right there? And then we're going to go ahead and, well, first we're going to, skipping ahead here, first we're going to put the carrier assembly back in place. All right, we're going to bolt it down, and then we're going to put the supports like I showed you, holding that bar in place. Then we're going to put the bar in place. Then we're going to pop the bumper back on. And what I'm going to do is just place a link on how to do all that. Links for doing all that at the end of this video. Now, also, of course, we're going to go ahead and pop this air intake right here back in. It just bolts into right here. Okay, it'll be in the next video that shows you how to put the carrier back in place. All right. So, all right. So that pretty much wraps it up. I want to thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to like, share, definitely subscribe. Bob Asadi Deals on Wheels. I actually own a car dealership here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is a pretty easy job, actually. It was a piece of cake. And you can do anything with the right instructions and the right tools. I mean, this is done without a lift. I actually put it on some ramps that are more than capable of holding this vehicle. And that's how I got underneath it to undo all the bolts. Again, we're going to get to that. But don't be intimidated by this job. And I'll go ahead and, again, put the sequence for putting those bolts back on in the description below. Okay, now we're at the finish line. What you're going to want to do is top off any of the fluids that you lost, which should of course be coolant and also the engine oil as well. You may have lost a little bit of that. You know, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and put the vehicle down on a level surface. Turn it over, let it run for about a minute, turn it off, check the oil level, top it off, check the coolant level, top it off if you need to. And then what you're going to do is turn the vehicle on and let it run for 5 minutes. And then what you will do is check all of the check the torque on all of the bolts for the intake manifold, the ones that you tightened. And again, make sure that everything is at 10 Newton meters. And then what we're going to do, or we're not done yet, what we're going to do is just pop on these engine covers. Oh, need to put some light glue on this one or something. And you're just going to go ahead and pop these on. As you know, they go on right there, right there, right here, right here, and right here. So you got 3 in the front for that little trim piece. And you got, as you could see, 2 in the back. 1, 2 for that one. There we go. And then you got, as you could see, 3 on the back of the front little engine cover trim piece. By the way, if you don't want to even deal with this, if you have an Audi A8, RS, you know, whatever vehicle you have, if you want to sell it at the dealer-only auction, I'll tell you exactly what I can get for it in your region. You have to have the title to it, though, free and clear. I could ballpark how much you'll end up getting for it at the auction, and then I can just put you into a 2 to 3 year old Audi. You know, take your pick. What kind of Audi do you want? I will save you thousands, and the vehicle will still be under warranty. Just take a look at the luxury wholesale auction link that I will include at the end of this video. Okay, any questions or comments, please post them down below. Don't forget to also check out the Facebook site. Like it, friend me on Facebook. Make sure that you add me to your Twitter account as well. Don't forget to ring that bell as well so you get heads up on the latest car-related videos that are released on this channel. Thanks again. See you next time.